Gather round, gather round. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Reviews from the Crypt. Now let me ask you a question. Do you fear death? Do you believe in myths? You ever run full speed while taking a You know the age-old myth of cats have 9 lives? What if those were given to you? Would you take it? It's a tough call. Would you live 9 full lives? Would life be added to each life after death? There's so many connotations that come with that. I don't know if I would take it. I wouldn't want to live forever. I wouldn't want the immortality that could possibly come with that. That brings us into tonight's episode. Dig that cat. He's real gone. Now this episode was directed by Richard Donner, and coincidentally enough, you remember the leading actress from episode 2, how she was in Goonies and in Scrooged? Well, Richard Donner directed both of those films, so we're kind of seeing some returning titles, if you will. Richard Donner also directed the whole Lethal Weapon saga, which is pretty damn cool. Now let's talk about the leading actor. This guy, you all should know. Absolutely, without a doubt. Even if you're not a movie buff, you've seen this guy. Sorry, I'm going to butcher your name, but the leading actor of this episode is Joe Pantoliano. Now, you've probably seen Joe in movies such as, I don't know, The Matrix. He was the chief in Bad Boys. He was in The Sopranos. He was in The Fugitive. He was in U.S. Marshal. Like, Joe has been around. Hold on, I gotta look this up. Does he have star on the Hall of Fame? I don't know if he does. I gotta look this up real quick. There's an Italian Walk of Fame? I did not know that. But it's not showing if he has one on the actual Hollywood Walk of Fame. And if he doesn't, then that's a fucking crime, in my opinion. Joe deserves one. Because in this episode, he puts on a fantastic performance. Even in his younger career, he crushes this role. Now let's jump into the episode itself. And as per usual, we see the Crypt Keeper setting the mood to present tonight's tale and get ready to tell us a nice bedtime story. He's lighting candles. He hops down, goes over to his nice little reading corner. He grabs the big book of mystery, the big book of wonders, the big book of blah, blah, blah. He's grabbing the book off the shelves and dusting it off, getting ready to entertain us for tonight. And now he introduces the story. And now the story starts with a big, nice open shot of Big Top Carnival. And we're going to get a nice little walkthrough of all the things that this wonderful place has to offer. We see fun attractions like the Bearded Lady. They have nice, hot, buttery popcorn. Tasty. As we find our way up to the main stage, our main attraction of tonight, we meet a fun, interesting character, our ringleader of the circus, Mr. Baker. Now, Baker's is a fast-talking, hot salesman. He's probably sold cars in his past life, but he's given this big introduction, this wonderful sell of our main attraction, our main character, Ulrich the Undying. Gather round, gather round. Now Baker, he's selling this and hyping this up as ringleaders do. He's just boom, boom, boom. And he's describing on what we're going to be doing with Ulrich the Undying. Since he can't die, well, technically he can die, but he comes back. He has the power of resurrection. And so tonight, the way we are going to have good old Ulrich become deceased is burying him for 12 hours. He's going to meet his expiration by suffocation. Honestly, for me, I probably wouldn't do. I'm very claustrophobic. This would be, I would find other ways to expire. I would not do this one. This would suck for me. So we see the crowd cheering and everybody's chanting, Ulrich, Ulrich, Ulrich. Yeah, we see him waving, the coffin closes, and he gets buried, and boom, everybody's quiet. Fades to black, reopens with Ulrich lighting a nice little candle, setting the mood of his own to tell us his story of all the prior deaths that led to his fame. Now, the way all of this started was with a nice German doctor who was scavenging. It's kind of hard to describe. It was like a alleyway mixed with a basement, mixed with a high school play, background set. It all just, like, I don't know what the scene was supposed to be. It seemed like everybody had their hands on this and it was like, no, we should take it this way. This would look better. And it's like, I don't know. Anyway, Dr. Ulrich is looking for some strange tonight, right? He don't care how he gets it or who he gets it from. He just wants a little bit of strange. So he finds Ulrich sitting in this nice fridge box, or, he calls his home, and he wakes Ulrich up. He's like, hey, Ooh, sexy lady. How would you like to make some money? I have so much money to give to you. Let me do things to you. Yeah? Anyway, he wakes Ulrich up with some schnapps, obviously. And Ulrich's like, oh, schnapps. And, you know, Doc's just kind of giving him this spiel. He's like, I will offer you my whole life savings if I can do things to you. And he offers Ulrich, like, I don't know, $5. Well, I mean, he offered him schnapps too. So I guess, you know, $5 and some schnapps, you can do whatever you want. So he finally lures Ulrich back to his evil scientist lair and shows him all his cat scans, quote unquote, actual scans of cats. He's telling him how he's found a way to make somebody immortal or at least die 9 times. And he shows him the cat scans of the cat's brains and how all of this, the myth of 9 lives, it all comes from this tiny little gland in their brain. And he wants to take that gland from the cat and put it into Ulrich's brain. And meanwhile, while he's explaining all this to Ulrich has the attention span of a 3-year-old who sees shiny things and jingling keys and all that stuff, because Ulrich's just touching everything in the lab, right? And when it finally clicks in his tiny brain, like, oh, you're gonna give me 9 lives. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Let's do that. That'd be sick. Oh, and you're gonna do that here. You know, Ulrich's all excited to do it, and then he's just like, well, wait, what if this doesn't work? And the doctor just says to him very calmly, then you have no complaints. Now we cut to the end of the operation. Ulrich wakes up from the operation. He's like, oh, Doc. My ass hurts. Did it work? And doctor's just like, why, yes, it did work. It worked very perfectly. It went very smooth. It slid right in. I mean, yes, the cat transformation of the gland, it worked. I was like, oh, good. That's great. But wait, how do you know that it worked? And then so the doctor pulls out his best James Bond impression with the and boom, pops Ulrich right in the head. Ulrich goes down very slowly in slow motion. Doc checks his vital. He's like, oh, he's dead. I did it. I can run away now. He's dead. But he's not dead. Boom. Joe comes back up still screaming like, ah, like he's about to get shot. He's like, and he grabs Doc. He's like, you tried to kill me. I didn't try to kill you. I did kill you. And now it all sets into Joe. He's like, oh my God, I have 9 lives. Well, no, you have 8 lives. Because Doc just wasted one of them to test his theory. I mean, he could have committed murder, but he didn't. Joe's back. He has a big bullet wound in his head, by the way. So now that the operation is a success and we know that it works, Doc wants to offer Ulrich a chance to earn more money. He wants to do more butt things to Ulrich. And so Doc pays him his money, and then he gives him this proposition of, how would you like to make even more money? He's like, wait, no, what do you want to do to me? And it's nothing like that. He just wants to find a way to make a lucrative profit off of wasting these 9 lives that he just gave to him. So now that he kind of persuaded Ulrich into this little Ponzi scheme, we now cut to the Doc trying to sell this act to the ringleader of Big Top Carnival. And, you know, the ringleader thinks it's an escaping act, and he's like, I don't want any of that. That doesn't sell. That's trash. The crowd sees right through it. And Doctor's like, no, this is no escape act. This is Ulrich the Undying actually dies right in front of you and then comes back to life. He's like, whoa, wait, this guy actually dies? Yes, he dies. But we can only schedule a certain amount of shows before this all stops. So, you in? Yeah? He's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, we'll give it a shot. So now that we've sold our shtick to the ringleader, Joe's on board. Doc is ready to make lots of money off of Ulrich, right? So now we cut to our very first show. This is the beginning stages of Ulrich's adventure. I kind of want to point this out because it cuts to the ringleader selling the first act, and he's got this Charlie Chaplin Hitler stash. Kind of touchy. I know they were trying to go for the Charlie Chaplin, but come on. And the funny thing is, this is just like in Scary Movie 3 where the sheriff's hat keeps getting bigger and bigger. Well, the ringleader's mustache changes every show. It's if you notice it as you watch the episode, it's really funny. So we see the ringleader hype up the first act, right? And we see Ulrich in this big dunk tank. He's got his swim cap on. He's got goggles on. He's got all this going on because the way we're going to do our first resurrection is by drowning. We take all the classic escape artist tricks and stuff like that, but we make it so you actually expire and then come back. That's how we're going to sell these acts. So we start filling up the tank, and as the tank's filling, then we get introduced to the showgirl Carly, who apparently it just immediately has the hots for Ulrich. It's like, ooh, look at this short drink of water. And so she's asking him out. It's like, you want to get dinner with me later? And he's like, what? Huh? I can't hear you. I'm in a big fucking tank surrounded by water. You're trying to talk to me through, 3 inches of glass too, by the way. She's like, you want to get dinner with me later? Carly's a sweet girl, but she is so ditzy. She takes out her lipstick and she writes diner on the glass. And she finally convinces Ulrich to have dinner with her. She's like, okay, I'll wait here. So the tank fills up. Ulrich starts to drown. And the ringleader's like, come on, let's speed it up. Let's hurry up. Come on, let's go. And he's dead. He's like, oh, he's deader than shit. It's not enough to just see a guy just float there and bob in the water. No, we're going to wait a full hour to pass by and then check back in on him. And this raises questions for me. Like, okay, yes, he drowned. He died. How long until his resurrection comes back? Also, if his resurrection comes back while he's in the drown tank, isn't he going to drown again and again and again and like waste lives? That could have panned out really bad for Ulrich. So an hour passes by and we drain the tank, and here's some more of that good old Tales from the Crypt comedy coming through again, because the doc is there with his stethoscope to check vitals on Ulrich. Well, he takes off the stethoscope and just water's pouring through the earbuds of it. It's like, he's dead. He is dead as shit. Yeah, he's gone. Now we're trying to sell the whole resurrection part of the show. Unfortunately, things aren't going well. He's not coming back. He's not resurrecting. He's kind of just dead as shit, as we said before. So everybody just kind of, I don't want to be around here because I just watched a murder. Everybody starts freaking out. They all start leaving. The ringleader's trying to calm everybody down. He's like, it's just going to take a little minute. And Carly's still screaming, resurrection! He's like, well, you shut the fuck up. Carly's freaking out at the dock. And then all of a sudden, boom! Ulrich comes alive. It's resurrection. And Ulrich's all excited. He's like, oh my God, this actually worked. Hell yeah. He calls for the crowd to come back in, and everybody is all excited. And, now the ringleader realizes, oh man, we have a real fucking show on our hands, right? So let's keep doing this. This is going to make a lot of money, because he made 10 grand off of people seeing him drown on the 10 o'clock news. Like he made a lot of bank on this. So now that we have a show on our hands, we're going to cut to the next act. I don't know how long these acts play in between each other, like what the time frame is. Hopefully it's not back to back to back, because that would really suck. I would hate that. That'd be like torture every night. So our next act is introduced to us in a nice Western theme. Ulrich's got his chops on. He's got his cowboy boots and his 10-gallon hat, and yeah, I'll get ready to go, because tonight we're playing a good old game of Hangman. And everybody's all excited. Ulrich's just waving to the crowd, and he's all ready to get this over with. And he's telling Carly to pull the lever. Just pull it. She's like, I don't want to. Pull the lever. No, you do it. No, I don't want. No. And so Ulrich just, whatever. He pulls it himself, and you see him do his thing, does his struggle, and then he's done. He's just swinging in the wind. And now we're just waiting around for the whole resurrection. And, it works. He comes back, he's resurrecting, he's pulling himself up because, he doesn't want to waste another life. And everybody's all cheering and whatnot. And I found this really weird too. As he's pulling himself up, he's trying to get help, and he's holding himself with one arm. Very strong dude. But Carly is like hanging on. She's like, oh my God. He's like, I don't want to waste another life. And so now that gig's over, we kind of see the aftermath of that act, because his voice changes, and he starts talking like the side coach from Waterboy, the one that talks like, you know what I'm saying, the Bobby Boucher. Or Radigan's little henchman from The Great Mouse Detective. What was his name? Was it Basil? I think it was Basil. We're going to fast forward a little bit in time to a dark and stormy night. It's a real downpour. We see a car speeding around a corner, and inside that car is Ulrich and the doc, right? And the doc is kind of all in love with Ulrich and his new ability, and how, oh, your body is so strong, it repairs itself so beautifully, so nicely, so delicate. He's just staring at Ulrich like, oh, I want to do things to you, do more things to you. How would you like that? Would you? Yeah, baby. The doc is kind of saying your body does regenerate a lot faster. It's really great. It's fantastic. You know, it's abnormal. He's like, well, it's gonna make us so much money. And Ulrich interrupts me. He's like, well, doc, here's the thing. It's gonna make me lots of money. Oh no, this is where things get interesting. He's going to double cross the doc so he gets all the money going forward. Even though, dude, if you really think about this, I don't know if this would have worked, but you're killing the only guy that could have put more glands in your brain to get more lives, to keep making more money. You killed the only guy that could do this. Why? I mean, yes, money is a powerful tool. Greed blinds us all. But dude, you should have thought long term. You just committed the dumbest thing you could have possibly done. So he's telling the doc, like, hey, I'm cutting you out. I'm getting all the money. Like, no, what are you doing? He's like, gonna die tonight because he's gonna crash his car. He's like, well, no, that's murder. He's like, no, doc, we're both gonna die. But the thing is, I have 9 lives. How many do you have? And so, boom, crashes. Doc's out of the picture now. So now, after that, we cut to the next act of the night, which apparently we're going to take a little theme from the first episode, and we're going to die from electrocution. Ulrich's getting strapped up to some jumper cables and stuff like that, holding some light bulbs to really sell this. But the twist tonight is, and to make more profit, we're selling raffle tickets for the audience, and whoever wins the raffle gets to come up and flip the switch on Ulrich, which I guess is very lucrative business, is killing people. So Carly tries reading off the raffle ticket, and I mean, she can't spell dinner, so she can't really read all that well either. So Ringleader reads off the winning raffle ticket, and guess who won? It's Grandma! Grandma's all excited to do this shit because she ain't got many years left, so she's all excited to finally murder somebody in her lifetime. And she gets to come up. Before she flips the switch, the Ringleader asks if, Ulrich, do you have any last words? Ulrich, to sell his alibi, he wants to mourn the doc and dedicate this performance to Doc. And while he's kind of doing that, there's a guy in the audience that's like, hurry up and fry already. It's like the same guy from SpongeBob was like, oh, brother, this guy stinks. And so Ulrich gives his final words, and Granny just flips the switch, and you see Ulrich get electrocuted. Well, this part I kind of enjoyed because some of the myths from episode 1 on getting the electric chair kind of come true. Like Ulrich starts bleeding from the eyes, and the head starts to smoke up a little bit, and all this other crazy shit starts to happen, and he just, drops dead, right? And so now it's time for the resurrection. However, the resurrection is taking a lot longer than it normally does, so people think like he's actually dead. And now Grandma's getting arrested because she just murdered somebody in front of many witnesses. Sure, this is this guy's act. He dies and he comes back, but he's not coming back, so he's dead. Grandma killed him. She flipped the switch. She did it. She's the murderer. Only her. So Grandma gets hauled off to the state penitentiary, where now she's gonna sit on Niles Talbot's chair, have the switch flipped on her. We cut to the morgue because that's where they brought Ulrich's body, as where they bring pretty much every dead bodies to the morgue, and they're about to do the autopsy on them and all that stuff. But before they do, boom, come crashing through the door a whole bunch of news reporters, and Carly's there too. But the mortuary's assistant literally catches everybody and forces like 20 people out of the room by himself. This is a strong assistant. You should give that guy a raise, because or put him on security detail, because that guy's strong as shit. So Carly comes in and is telling you can't kill my boyfriend. He's not really dead. And the guy's like, well, you could have fooled me. And then Ulrich, resurrection! He pops up and scares the mortuary, or the guy who works in the morgue, because he thinks he's a zombie or a vampire. He's like, ah! And now that he's back, off to the next act for Ulrich. And now this time it's a carnival game. This one's a lot more fun. We got the sharpshooting target that moves back and forth. So people are going to come up and take a shot with a crossbow. Ulrich's going to be behind, and there's a little cutout to hit him right in the chest. So we have the act being sold. The first guy stands up. It's a nice sailor on shore from leave. He's got this hot little piece with him. So I'm going to show her that I'm a man. I'm going to by killing another man right in front of her, because that's a turn on, I guess. An aphrodisiac is whatever. It's murder. So he's about ready to take the shot, and the ringleader's like, that'll be $1,000. Yep, there's the twist again. We're not selling raffle tickets this time. You got to pay $1,000 to kill this guy. So the sailor's broke because, you know, he's in the Navy. No offense. So he steps down. He's not going to take the shot. The next person that walks up is your typical little scrawny nerd kid with big old glasses and whatnot. He gives out a credit card, and he's like, yes, we do accept credit cards. And then the ringleader reads the name on the credit card, and it says Arnold Schwarzenegger. This kid just committed credit card fraud. I'm sure he's committed a lot more fraud in his life, or he's a pickpocket and he stole Arnold's wallet and credit card. Either way, he's committing fraud. So nerd kid is lining up his shot, reaching all, like, he can't even hold this thing steady even though it's on a swivel. He's like, oh, well, you know, let me take off my glasses so I can see better. He's about to kill somebody. Not Ulrich, somebody else. Well, anyway, the kid takes a shot, misses wildly, by the way, and steps away. But, you know, Carnival still made $1,000 off that guy. Now we have another contestant in the audience, an unwilling participant, though, because it's a father and son duo, and the father's like, hey, Junior will do it. He's like, God, Dad, I don't wanna. Ah, shut up. Quit being a sissy. You're gonna come up here and kill this guy. Some kids kill rabbits. You can kill a human. God, Dad, I don't want to kill anybody. And the ringleader's also like prodding this kid. He's like, oh, come on, listen to your father. Yeah, come on, I've been killing people for years. Now it's time for you to do it. And that made me question. I'm like, what do you do for a living that you've been killing people for years? You seem kind of shady. Are you in the mob? Are you a hitman? What are you, a dirty cop? What do you do? What do you do for a living? Not to mention, you can just throw down $1,000 for your son to kill a person. This is a messed up dad. I don't like this dynamic. So he's kind of helping his son aim. Well, not really. He's forcing his son to aim, and he nicks Ulrich's arm, well, the big sleeve on his Zorro shirt, and the father gets real. He's like, you did that on purpose, Junior, you little shit. I'm gonna beat you with the belt later tonight. It's like, no, Dad, I didn't do it. Well, now we have our fourth contestant of the night. This guy looks like a cross between Mr. Magoo and the hamburger guy from Popeye. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. You know that guy? He comes up and he gives him a check, and the ringleader says, I'll need 2 forms of identification. So he gives him his 2 forms of identification, and one of them says he is a state champion archer for, like, I don't know how many years, but the guy's like, yeah, I can shoot a bow. I can shoot an arrow. Crossbow is no different. I feel like killing a guy tonight. Let's do it. Since this guy's a hot shot, he nails Ulrich right in the chest. Boom. He's done. Ulrich comes out from behind the cutout, smiling. He's like, this is great. This feels fantastic. And he just falls over dead. And the archery champ's like, well, what do I win? And he gets a nice prize of the arrow that killed a man. And he's like, ooh, this is cool. I'm gonna keep evidence. Like, this can't be legal. I know it's a traveling carnival, but this can't be legal. Not to mention it's being televised. So anyways, it cuts to Ulrich back in his trailer. He's making the front page. He's making money from all this stuff because the ringleader comes in, gives him his cut of all the proceeds. Apparently they got money from HBO. They got money from the local television. They got like money from this, and this. So his deaths are being televised. I can't think this is legal. This is really messed up in this society or whatever universe this is in. So he gets all this money. It was like 60 grand total from just that show. And now he's thinking, I got a lot of money. And he's like, hey, Carly, how about we go on a nice vacation? We'll go to Vegas, and then we'll go to the Bahamas, and then maybe to Paris. You know, he's treating her well. He wants to take her places and show her a good time and all this stuff. But Carly, just like how Ulrich did with the doc, Carly's getting a little greedy. She's like, well, that's nice, but how about this? How about I go on vacation? And she reaches in her purse to pull out a knife, but here's the comedy bit again. She pulls out a little comb. So she reaches back in, then she pulls out a knife. She's like, you know, stay here. and she stabs him, right? And this was kind of a nice little anecdote of Ulrich having a cat's gland in him, because when he gets stabbed, he rolls over and he hisses like a cat. I think that was kind of a cool characteristic to have in that character, is just the hissing of a cat when he died. So Carly murders Ulrich. There's another life gone, by the way. Are you keeping track? And she starts grabbing all his money. She's a greedy little ditz. I don't know where she came up with this plan. And as she's grabbing all the money, she's apologizing and whatnot. She prays a little bit. She's talking to him and all this. So here's a little part that I think was a complete accident during filming, but they kept in because it worked. So she's grabbing all the money. She throws it in her purse. She drops a little bit on, I'm going to say his name. She drops it on Joe's crotch area, and she goes to grab it without thinking, and so when she grabs it, she kind of hits him in the crotch, and he kind of flinches, but at the same time, like, she plays this off so well. I think this was impromptu. She grabs it, and as she does that, she hits him and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Friendly." I really do think that was an accident, because you can't just plan on, oh, I'm gonna drop a little bit of money there and this is gonna play out like this. No, I thought that was an accident, but I think it worked out so well that they just kept it in. But anyway, Carly runs off with all the money. And now Ulrich's just kind of recalling that. He's very upset. He's like, that bitch ran off with all my money. But luckily I have one life left. Yeah, I'm going to get revenge and whatnot. And now, since he lost all his money, he needs to make a lot of that money back. So for this final act, he goes up to the ringleader and says, "Hey, I'm taking 100% of the proceeds. You get fucking up." Okay? He's like, "But I'm gonna go bankrupt." You're gonna have absolutely no money when you start an attraction that pulls a no-show, okay? You give me the money, you ain't gonna say shit. I'm gonna walk out here a rich motherfucker. So the ringleader's getting blackmailed. He's like, all right, whatever. Well, with all that being said, now we're caught up to speed on where we started the episode. Now we're back to lowering Ulrich down into the hole to be buried for the 12 hours that he's in. And as we're burying him, Ulrich starts to just recall everything, how this all began, and it was all thanks to poor little kitty, poor dead little kitty. And that's when Ulrich kind of has an epiphany to where, oh no, that cat died with the gland. And then he starts recalling every other death and how he miscounted, because when the gland was transferred from the cat to him, that counted as a life. So we have the cat death, Doc shooting him, the drowning, we have the hangman, we have the car crash, we have the electrocution, we have the crossbow, we have Carly, suffocation, all 9 lives. Now that Ulrich realizes I'm not going to have any more lives, he starts freaking out and he starts screaming and screaming. It's like, I don't have 9 lives. I don't have 9 lives. And while he's getting buried, the carnies start walking away. And this was a nice little adage to the theme, is that, you know, he's screaming in the coffin, but you hear a cat meow in the background, and the carney's like, "Hey, did you hear something?" And the other guy's like, "Nah, it must have been just a cat." Like, "Oh yeah, a cat, whatever." And so they walk off, and it's just a nice zoom up on Ulrich's grave, and a black cat stands on the grave, and just kind of a nice symbolic gesture of how it's all gonna end. But, you know, I'm also thinking at this time too, I'm like, well, now you guys just have like an easy cover up, right? I'm assuming they're a traveling carnival, not just a posted up town carnival, right? So you already have a body buried like 6 feet under. I know a lot of people know about this. I know it was televised and stuff like that. Like, what are the repercussions that are going to happen? Are they just going to say, fuck it? Is it going to be an accident? Is it going to be... That's the thing. Like, what is the legality of all of this? Was there contracts written up? What is happening? I don't know. Anyway, Ulrich is done now. He wasted all his 9 lives, and that's it. Cut to black, and now we're back with more Crypt Keeper outro, and he's giving off the great puns and stuff like that too, of how this could have made a killing. This could have made a killing on television. We could have put it in the time slots between Wheel of Misfortune and the Newly Dead game. You know, stuff like that. And so, you know, overall, like, I felt like this had a very good mix of the comedy. It had a good, strong leading actor. It had some good suspense moments. It had a good story to it. It took an old wives' tale of the cat with 9 lives, and it took it into kind of a twist direction of it almost. Kind of makes you think of your own mortality and stuff like that too. So it's kind of hitting on all cylinders for me. I'm not saying it was like the best episode of all time out of the whole series, no, but it, like, Joe gives a very strong performance and everything. And just kind of with the feel of it, they knew what they were kind of doing with it. They knew the theme and the vibe of the episode. And I think it just kind of played off very well, and it all came together in a good, cohesive manner. In my honest opinion, I would, like, thinking back on it, yeah, I'd probably say this is a solid 8 out of 10. I'd put it a little bit above episode 2, but it kind of ties with episode 1 on how the feel, the cohesive, like all that stuff, it just kind of, it all works together as an episode. I think an 8 out of 10 is a very solid rating for this episode. I'm still trying out a few new things here and there. We'll see how this works out. If you have feedback on more things that you'd like to see or me try, please let me know in the comments down below. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed already, please do if you want to. That's totally fine. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Because I'd like people to come on this journey with me and see where it inevitably leads, because I do want to try and stick this one out. It's been fun so far. I've really enjoyed doing these episodes and rewatching this series to bring it to you, and hopefully it brings people into the show. Thanks everybody so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.